Hi everyone, Gaijin Goomba here. Today I want to take a look back at one of my favorite SNES games, Super Mario RPG, and talk about the various cultural aspects in the game. If you saw my second episode from way back in the day, you know I already talked about the knock knock shell and how it derived from the Japanese word noko noko, but that was just the beginning.
Okay, stop, hold up.
Can I help you?
Alright, look man, I like your stuff, and I get what you're doing here, but let me let you in on a little secret. Nobody knows more about Super Mario RPG than me.
Oh wait, you're Kirbopher.
Ah, for God's sake, it's Kirbopher. It's like Christopher, except Kirbier.
Right. Look Mac, I really love Tome, but I'm freaking Gaijin Goomba. Culture in games is my thing, and I love this game just as much as anyone did. I seriously doubt you can top me.
Is that so? I'm sorry, did you painstakingly create 2 music videos about the game, with references in every frame about every little obscure secret you can find? Listen, Chestnut, yes, I know you're a chestnut, not a mushroom. I know this game like the back of my hand. I bet you I could rattle off more information about this game than you ever could.
Alright then, Impy. You want to throw down with Gaijin? Bring it on! Let's see who can find the most obscure information in this game. Care to go first?
No, please, it's your show. Go ahead and wow me.
Now, most people already understand that there are a lot of obvious references in the game. Take Frogfucius for one. He's obviously named after the great Chinese philosopher Confucius.
Ooh, very good. Hey, I bet you guys didn't know that the Axum Rangers are a reference to... Wait for it. You ready for this? The Power Rangers.
Can I continue?
You can.
Anyway, there's a lot more to this game than you can really imagine. If you recall from episode 2 again, I talked about the different names of Mario characters from their original Japanese forms. One of them was Jugemu. If you also recall, in Mario RPG, you get access to Bowser's castle with the help of the, quote, royal bus. But hang on a sec. See what's written there? JB? That actually stands for Jugemu Bus. I know that's more or less an assumption, but the fact that it said Jugemu driving it, and part of the bus logo is their turtle shell, so I honestly believe that this is the case.
Ooh, real insightful. I'm sure people can figure that one out with that 5 minutes of Google searching.
Alrighty, smart Alec, let's see you do better.
I will. So one of the things I was always curious about in this game was the fascination with beetles. Why the hell did Booster and the Snippets care so much about them? There were 2 whole mini-games about them even. Well, it is, in fact, not such an out-of-nowhere concept, but a reference to a little trend in Japan back in the day called Beetle Sumo, which was insanely popular with children. They would capture or buy Kabuto beetles, raise them, and have them fight with other kids' beetles. Sound familiar? It should, as a very popular franchise was inspired by this very sport. That's right, Satoshi Tajiri himself was a fan of Beetle Sumo as a young lad, years before he came out with Pokemon. You know, I was on Pokemon once. You ever seen the episodes with Corey?
Yeah, no, I haven't. Finish your thought.
Alright. Now before you go off the deep end and write your angry Tumblr post accusing these kids of animal abuse, Beetle Sumo is actually less harmful than a Pokemon battle. The competing beetles wouldn't kill each other, they just pushed against each other with their huge horns until one of them ringed out. It was a hugely popular activity for kids to do, and catching the beetles was part of the fun, hence why the Snippets would go about collecting rare and special beetles for their man-child master Booster. He's obsessed with childish things like model train sets and fireworks and collecting beetles, so this makes sense. As for the space shooter game where you blast beetles on a Game Boy, well, I think we're still trying to figure that one out, but yeah. Oh, and speaking of children's games, at Great Guy's Casino, the Look the Other Way game is actually a very well-known playground game in Japan called Achi Muite Hoi, or Turn Your Head That Way. A sort of psych-out game where the person looking has to look in any other direction that the other person is pointing. If you've ever played Mario Party 2, you'll also recognize this concept in the minigame Look Away.
Alright, sockhead, you got some good points, but you better step up your game if you want to top the Maestro.
Fine, your turn, Maestro. Also, it's a burlap sack, not a sock. God.
What you may also not know about Booster is his name. In Japanese, he's called Buki, which means blunt or curt, and considering his attitude and demeanor, well, he really is.
And on the topic of names, another obvious cultural nod comes from the great composer Tarkovsky, who is named after great Russian composers like Peter Ilyich Tchaikovsky or Boris Tchaikovsky. See? There's more than just Japanese references, Mr. Gaijin.
Fair enough. Then how about this? In the original Japanese version, the Tsar Dragon was originally called the Kaiser Dragon. What makes this interesting is that it's believed that the pronunciation of those 2 names derives from the original Caesar, possibly Kaisar, essentially making the family name evolve into an evolution of words meaning ruler or emperor.
Ha! Not bad, but you left out the important detail about how the Kaiser Dragon title comes from a Final Fantasy boss of the same name. Not to mention there's a Bahamut mini-boss you can fight in Bowser's Castle, also in reference to Final Fantasy. What else you got?
Alrighty, also in the Barrel Volcano, there lives a lone toad shopkeeper named Hinopio. I never understood the name as a kid, but now it makes total sense. It's the combination of hi being one of the Japanese words for fire, and Toad's Japanese name, Hinopio, which in itself is a combination of the Japanese word for mushroom and Pinocchio. And there's Cluix. Cluix, originally called Crudistra or Crystaller, has a similar appearance to the final form of Kefka from Final Fantasy VI, creating yet another link between the Mario universe with the Final Fantasy universe. Also, Cluix's name in Latin means mosquito, possibly referencing Golbez from Final Fantasy IV, whose name comes from the Gobelesser, or the Gobelak fly, a black fly native to Gobelak, Serbia.
Weak. Name origins are easy.
Alright, Elf Boy, it's time for the lightning round. Name the original names of Super Mario RPG characters. Go! Smithy, called Kaiju, possibly meaning Smith King.
Frog Fuchsia is called Kairu Senden or Frog Hermit.
Valentina, called Margarita, as she holds one.
The Axum Ranger is called Kaijio Sentai Onorinja, or Smithy's Axe Ranger Squadron.
Three Musty Fleers, called the Undead Three.
Gino's name in Japanese is pronounced Gino. It's an Italian name in reference to Pinocchio.
Yardyevich, part of his first name, which was unchanged from the Japanese version, means spear, Yard.
Well, Jinx's Japanese name is Jackie in reference to Jackie Chan.
Knife Guy and Great Guy, originally called the Clown Brothers. Knife Guy being Clown Annie or older brother Clown, and Clown Ototo or younger brother Clown.
And Gaijin Goomba means I'm a gigantic know-it-all in Japanese. How's that for a translation, huh?
And Kirbopher means big, giant, jerk face.
Gaijin Goomba!
Uh-oh.
What on earth is all that racket about? I can hear it all the way downstairs.
Hey, you two love nuts need some alone time? Because, I mean, I can leave.
Enough! Look, boys, I know you two like each other, so how about you start acting like it? Seriously, it's not like only one of you can know a bunch of random information about a game. And it's also not like you two are the first ones to do this.
She's right. I can sit here and call myself the guru of culture and gaming, but I can't, especially when others have done it before me.
And I suppose I could accept the fact that there's stuff in this game I don't know that others do.
Truce?
Truce.
Come on, Curb. I'll show you around my place.
You live in a pipe.
Just get in there.